What happens when Guy Ritchie chases that Disney remake money and is allowed to make a blank check film? Hello, I'm Hay, and welcome to another review for All That Film, and today we're covering The Gentleman.
I want you to play a game with me, Ray.
I don't want to play a game.
Oh, please.
No.
I said play a game with me, Raymond.
Right.
Lovely.
The Gentleman comes to us from Guy Ritchie and kicks off my first film from the year and the decade. And what a start off it was! So yeah, I just checked and this did end up getting a 2019 release, so never mind. Guess you'll have to wait for this take when I see Birds of Prey. This was a really nice return to form for Ritchie. I don't hate Aladdin and I can't blame the guy for taking a paycheck, but honestly, his presence in that film really felt like an afterthought. Who can say where the road... This was very different here, thankfully. He definitely returns to the same energy that you'd want to see from him again. Our podcast discussion this week is actually on Guy Ritchie's filmography, and this did feel like a little bit of a make or break for his career for me. Thankfully, I ended up having a really fun time with this film, which definitely might tint my view rose-colored looking back at Ritchie's films. This definitely feels like a culmination of a lot of Ritchie's projects that had a much higher budget behind it. In terms of Ritchie's writing, this might be one of his best written films, maybe ever? Part of my enjoyment is getting all the different vernacular that is used all over the UK, and Ritchie has always been great at exposing the way people talk across the pond for me. This is textbook chess playing screenwriting, knowing how to navigate with different characters, progressions, and setups, and I really commend Ritchie and his team for this project. Some might walk away finding it a bit generic and maybe even predictable, but for me, the ride was just so enjoyable that I was captivated with the progression. The writing, while superb, isn't the only bright spot of this film. James Herbert's editing in this film is quite good and probably the best I've seen of his work with Ritchie, and James Nesbitt's lighting is next level in this project, and while usually a thing that can largely go unnoticed, there's clear intended spots where a lot of effort was put in to make a scene look incredible. Lastly, Lucinda Sison is probably the film's MVP, as the cast she brings in for this project are put in the roles they were born to thrive in, and even if you wouldn't have guessed it prior. Which, speaking of the cast, it's loaded with stars and perfect side characters. Guy Ritchie's early films have always been pretty good at this balancing act of main characters and side characters that get their moments to shine as well, which I guess I'll run through the list real quick and just let you know what I thought. Matthew McConaughey gives a pretty standard performance in a good way. He has a coolness that you'd require from a Mickey Pearson, and while it isn't the same turn as Beach Bum, it's still good to see him leading in good films. Charlie Hunnam also is used perfectly in this film. Obviously, King Arthur was his swing into leading man stardom, which didn't go over well financially. And while I don't know how well he is viably as a leading man, he's definitely a really capable presence on screen. Henry Golding hopefully keeps getting more roles because he's a pretty talented actor, and this stretches his capabilities more than just being a charming, handsome man. Hugh Grant started out a little bit rocky to me, but about 15 minutes through, it is clear what he's going for. And there's so much needed of his performance that he's able to pull off successfully, which was really impressive to see. There's two stellar performances that I'll get to in a moment, but I just want to shout out Chidi Ajufo and David Garrick. They're a delight on screen as the muscle. Tommy Woo, while given little screen time, is an actor I definitely like to see more of. And the entire group of toddlers excel in the scenes they're given, and they were just a really fun presence and sort of unexpected for a Guy Ritchie film. I can't help but reiterating that the entire cast is delightful, and they all seem like they were having a blast. But with that said, there are two particular standouts for me that are hard to ignore. Colin Farrell is spectacular, and it's a nice reminder that he is terrific in these fun mainstream roles. There's something about his delivery and comedic timing that Farrell has always been incredible at, and I hope he returns to more and more. I also think his role may have been the one that was meant to be the most memorable, but perhaps it's just how good of an actor Colin Farrell is. Final standout, mostly because I've overlooked him as an actor, but Jeremy Strong gives such a memorable performance. He is going in so hard and committing to something that might not work for some, but I found myself laughing at so many of the lines filled with snark. Apparently he's terrific in Succession. Shout out to Turtle and Mihoy for their review. So again, I've been sleeping on this guy a ton, and my eyes are now wide open.
You to consider an offer.
I am not for sale. The plot begins to thicken.
Overall, I describe The Gentleman as an incredibly fun time, backed with a tremendous cast that feels like a return to form for Guy Ritchie. Definitely check out this project. Again, I was very hesitant when I saw the US release date, but it deserves to be seen and definitely isn't a dumping ground movie film. Thanks for listening to another review for All That Film. If you enjoyed this review, you'll enjoy others that are being shown on the playlist on screen. Additionally, we have a podcast with new episodes posted every week with our Guy Ritchie's filmography upcoming in honor of this very film. Look forward to a spoiler discussion for this project. Might take a second, but I really want to discuss a couple of the positives, full spoilers with my friends. Also subscribe for more reviews in the future. Bye!